There are moments in life when everything feels off. You can't quite explain it, but something isn't right. The energy around you feels heavy, conversations leave you feeling uneasy, and your sense of peace is constantly disturbed. You might even find yourself questioning your own feelings or wondering if you're overreacting. These feelings are not coincidences. They are signals telling you that something or someone in your life may be draining you, manipulating you, or pulling you away from your true self. Life is too precious to spend it surrounded by negativity, dishonesty, or manipulation. You deserve peace, clarity, and the freedom to live without the constant burden of toxic relationships. But here's the hard truth. Toxicity doesn't always present itself in obvious ways. Often it hides behind the masks of kindness, humor, or false affection. It creeps into your life slowly, turning what once felt light and joyful into something heavy and suffocating. And before you know it, you find yourself entangled in relationships that are eroding your well-being bit by bit. It's easy to miss the warning signs, especially when these toxic behaviors come from people you care about, friends, family, or even colleagues. You might convince yourself that you're imagining things, or worse, that it's your fault. But it's not. There's a way to break free, to protect your peace and reclaim your power, and that begins with understanding the subtle signs that toxic people often show. Let's be honest, this world is filled with challenges, and we're all struggling in some way. However, what you must remember is that not every person who struggles is harmful. Some people are genuinely going through difficult times and need understanding, support, and patience. But then, there are those who thrive on causing chaos, who take advantage of your kindness, and who drain your energy without a second thought. These are the people you need to be aware of. You may think, "But I've known this person for years. They wouldn't do that to me." Or perhaps, "They're just having a rough time. It's temporary." But deep down, you know something is off. You've felt it in the pit of your stomach, that uneasy feeling that tells you something isn't quite right. And it's time to start listening to that feeling. You've probably heard the phrase, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This statement is more powerful than you might realize. The people closest to you have an enormous impact on your thoughts, your mindset, and ultimately, your happiness. Surround yourself with positive, uplifting individuals, and you'll feel energized, motivated, and at peace. Surround yourself with toxic, negative people, and you'll find yourself constantly drained, anxious, and doubting your worth. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers profound insights into human behavior, giving you the wisdom to navigate difficult relationships with strength and clarity. Stoicism isn't about shutting yourself off from others. It's about protecting your peace while remaining open to the world. It teaches us to recognize what is within our control and what is not. And while you cannot control how other people behave, you absolutely can control how much access they have to your life. Think about it. How much time do you spend worrying about what others think of you, about their opinions, their judgments? How often do you find yourself trying to please someone who never seems satisfied, or bending over backward for someone who never reciprocates? It's exhausting. Stoicism teaches us that we are responsible for our own emotions and reactions. Toxic people will always exist, but the way we respond to them is where our true power lies. At its core, Stoicism is about mastering yourself, your mind, your emotions, and your reactions to the world around you. It teaches you to rise above the chaos, to remain calm in the face of adversity, and to protect your inner peace at all costs. This is where your strength lies, and this is how you begin to recognize who truly belongs in your life and who doesn't. When you start to see through the behaviors of toxic people, You begin to realize that you don't owe anyone your energy or time, especially not those who drain it without giving anything in return. You don't have to tolerate manipulative tactics, dishonest behavior, or constant negativity. You are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to distance yourself. You are allowed to walk away from anyone who brings more harm than good into your life. There's a certain liberation that comes with this realization that you don't have to fix everyone, that you don't have to save every relationship, and that it's okay to prioritize your own well-being. In fact, it's necessary. The people you surround yourself with should elevate you, not pull you down. They should inspire you to be better, not make you question your worth. You may feel guilty for cutting ties with toxic people, especially if they're close to you. But remember this: preserving your mental and emotional health is not selfish. It's essential. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. It means you care about yourself enough to walk away from situations that harm you. Stoicism teaches us that inner peace is priceless, and nothing, no relationship, no friendship, is worth sacrificing that peace. Toxic individuals will try to pull you into their chaos, but when you understand your worth, you won't allow them to. You'll stand firm, confident in the knowledge that your peace is non-negotiable. It's not always easy to recognize toxic behavior, especially when it's subtle, but once you begin to see the patterns, manipulation, dishonesty, negativity, boundary violations, you can't unsee them. You become aware, and awareness is the first step toward change. It's about reclaiming your power and understanding that you have the right to protect your energy, your time, and your peace. As you go through this journey, it's important to remember that you are not alone. Many people struggle with identifying and dealing with toxic relationships, but the wisdom of Stoicism can guide you. It offers clarity in the midst of confusion, strength in the face of doubt, and peace in a world that often feels chaotic. When you start applying these Stoic principles to your life, you'll notice a shift. The fog will lift, and you'll see things more clearly. You'll recognize the people who genuinely care for you, who support you, and who respect your boundaries. And most importantly, you'll recognize the toxic behaviors that no longer have a place in your life. It's time to take control of your life and protect your peace. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, who encourage you, and who respect you. And when you begin to recognize the signs of toxicity, you'll find the strength to walk away from what no longer serves you. This journey isn't about isolation, it's about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of toxic relationships and stepping into a life where peace, clarity, and self-respect reign supreme. You have the power to make that choice, to protect your well-being, and to surround yourself with positivity. And that choice begins now. Your peace is worth everything. Don't ever let anyone take it from you. Manipulation is often invisible. It doesn't announce itself with loud alarms or flashing lights. It creeps into your relationships subtly, wearing the mask of concern, friendship, or love, making it difficult to detect. You begin to doubt yourself, questioning whether the discomfort you're feeling is real or a product of your imagination. But that unease you feel, the quiet voice in your mind telling you something is wrong, is the first signal. The ability to recognize manipulation is not only vital for protecting your peace, but it is also crucial for regaining control over your life. Manipulators are skilled at using emotional tactics to control others. They distort reality, twist conversations, and make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. Their goal is to weaken your sense of self, to make you dependent on their approval or validation. The Stoics teach us that recognizing these tactics is the first step toward breaking free. Through Stoic philosophy, you can learn how to spot manipulation, resist its influence, and maintain your inner strength. Stoicism provides clarity in a world where manipulation can easily blur your vision. At the heart of this philosophy is the understanding that while you cannot control others, you can always control your response. This knowledge becomes a powerful shield when dealing with manipulators who thrive on emotional confusion. They count on your reactions, your fear, your anger, your guilt to fuel their control. But when you remain calm, centered, and unaffected, their influence fades. One of the most common tactics used by manipulators is emotional blackmail. They twist situations to make you feel responsible for their feelings. They may say things like, "If you cared about me, you'd do this," or "After all I've done for you, you owe me." These statements are designed to make you feel guilty and manipulate your emotions to meet their needs. The Stoics offer wisdom here. You are not responsible for how others feel. As Epictetus teaches, each person is responsible for their own emotions and actions. By internalizing this truth, you can see through the manipulator's tactics and refuse to be swayed by guilt or obligation. You are free to act according to your values, not someone else's demands. Another tactic is gaslighting, where manipulators make you doubt your reality. They might say, "You're too sensitive," or "That never happened," when you clearly remember it. Over time, this can erode your confidence and make you question your perception of events. Gaslighting is a powerful tool for those who wish to control, but Stoicism provides an antidote. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to trust our own judgment. You know your reality better than anyone else. By staying grounded in your truth, you can counteract the manipulator's attempts to distort it. The more you trust yourself, the less power gaslighting has over you. Manipulators often create a false sense of urgency to pressure you into making decisions quickly without thinking them through. They may push you to act now, insisting that the opportunity will disappear if you don't take immediate action. This is a classic manipulation tactic designed to keep you off balance and compliant. The Stoic approach to such pressure is to remain calm and patient. Seneca teaches that rushing leads to mistakes. Nothing good comes from hasty decisions made under stress. By slowing down, taking your time, and refusing to be rushed, you can make thoughtful decisions that align with your values, not someone else's timeline. Another form of manipulation is playing the victim. Manipulators may portray themselves as helpless or misunderstood, seeking your sympathy to get what they want. They may exaggerate their struggles, making you feel guilty for not doing more to help them. But as the Stoics remind us, everyone faces challenges, and how we respond to them is what truly matters. While it's natural to want to help others, it's important to recognize when someone is using their problems to manipulate your kindness. Stoicism teaches you to help others from a place of strength and wisdom, not guilt or coercion. You can offer support without allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. Flattery is another tool in the manipulator's arsenal. They may shower you with compliments, making you feel special or indispensable, only to use your newfound loyalty for their own benefit. The Stoics warn us about the dangers of relying on external validation. Marcus Aurelius advises us to remain indifferent to praise or criticism from others. When you are grounded in your own self-worth, you are less likely to be swayed by flattery. You recognize that true value comes from within, not from the opinions of others, and this makes you immune to manipulative praise. Manipulators often isolate their targets, cutting them off from friends and family who might offer support or alternative perspectives. They might subtly undermine your relationships, saying things like, "Your friends don't understand you like I do," or "Why do you always listen to them?" This isolation makes you more dependent on the manipulator, but Stoicism teaches the importance of community and connection. The Stoics believed in the value of relationships and the support of others. By maintaining strong connections with trusted people in your life, you can resist the isolating tactics of manipulators and stay grounded in the truth. Manipulation can also come in the form of playing on your insecurities. A manipulator will exploit your fears and weaknesses to control you. They might say things like, "No one else would put up with you," or "You'll never find someone as patient as me." These statements are designed to make you feel small, unworthy, and trapped. But the Stoics teach that your worth is not determined by others' opinions. Epictetus reminds us that external things, what people say, how they act, do not define us. Your value comes from your character, your actions, and your integrity. When you know your worth, manipulative comments lose their power. The Stoic concept of indifference to externals is key to dealing with manipulation. Manipulators thrive on controlling external situations, what you do, how you feel, how you react. But the Stoics remind us that externals are beyond our control. What is within our control is how we respond. By practicing indifference to the manipulator's tactics, you take away their power. They can't control you if you remain focused on your own actions and reactions. When you learn to detach from their influence, you become free. Manipulators often thrive on chaos. They create confusion and uncertainty, keeping you off balance so you're easier to control. Stoicism, however, teaches the importance of clarity and rational thought. By applying Stoic principles, you can cut through the noise and focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. This clear-sightedness helps you recognize when someone is creating unnecessary drama or confusion to manipulate you. When you see the situation for what it is, you can respond with calm, rational action rather than getting swept up in the chaos. Ultimately, manipulation is about power, someone trying to control your thoughts, feelings, and actions for their own benefit. But Stoicism teaches that true power lies within you. You cannot be controlled by others when you are in control of yourself. The Stoics encourage you to live according to your values, to act with integrity, and to stay true to your principles, regardless of external pressures. When you follow this path, manipulation loses its grip on you. Recognizing manipulation is not just about identifying the tactics others use, but about strengthening your own sense of self. Stoicism offers the tools to do this, to stand firm in the face of pressure, to trust your own judgment, and to live with clarity and purpose. As you deepen your understanding of Stoic philosophy, you'll find that the manipulative forces in your life lose their power. You become the master of your own mind, free from the influence of those who seek to control you. In every interaction, you have a choice: to be swayed by others' manipulation or to remain steadfast in your own truth. The teachings of the Stoics remind us that we hold the key to our own freedom. Chronic negativity can seep into your life like a slow poison. It's subtle, often disguised as concern or realism, but over time it weighs you down, draining your energy and clouding your sense of peace. You may not even notice at first, but slowly the world seems darker, conversations heavier, and your own thoughts more burdened. Recognizing this shift is crucial because chronic negativity, if left unchecked, can consume your mental and emotional space, pulling you further from the calm and clarity that Stoicism seeks to cultivate. Negativity is contagious. When you're surrounded by it, even if you're naturally optimistic, it can start to affect how you see the world. One of the most insidious aspects of chronic negativity is that it often masquerades as something else: caution, concern, or even love. Someone might say, "I'm just looking out for you," when in reality, they're projecting their own fears and anxieties onto you. They see the world through a lens of pessimism and, consciously or not, want you to share in that perspective. The Stoics understood the power of our environment on our minds. Epictetus once said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This idea holds true today. When you are surrounded by people who constantly focus on the negative, you are more likely to absorb that mindset. It's easy to get swept up in the complaints, the worries, the endless cycle of what-ifs. But Stoicism teaches us to recognize when this is happening and to take action to protect our peace. A key Stoic principle is recognizing what is within your control. You can't control other people's attitudes or mindsets, but you can control your response to them. When faced with chronic negativity, it's important to ask yourself, is this negativity something I need to engage with, or can I distance myself from it? Often, the answer is the latter. You don't need to participate in every negative conversation. You don't need to adopt someone else's fears or anxieties. Instead, you can choose to remain focused on what is within your power, to maintain a calm and positive outlook, even when others around you are stuck in negativity. Stoicism teaches the importance of mental discipline. It encourages us to be vigilant about what we allow into our minds. Just as you wouldn't allow harmful substances into your body, you shouldn't allow harmful thoughts to take root in your mind. Chronic negativity, when left unchecked, can become a habit. If you're constantly around it, you may start to adopt the same patterns of thinking without even realizing it. You might find yourself complaining more, seeing obstacles where there are none, or feeling a sense of dread about the future. But Stoicism offers a way out of this cycle. By practicing mental discipline, you can train yourself to recognize negative thoughts as they arise and choose not to engage with them. One of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal is the practice of reframing. When confronted with negativity, whether it's from others or within yourself, Stoicism teaches you to look at the situation from a different perspective. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of a situation, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What opportunity is hidden here? This shift in perspective not only helps you avoid getting sucked into negativity, but also empowers you to see challenges as opportunities for growth. By reframing negative situations, you take control of your mindset and protect your peace. The Stoics were also firm believers in the importance of gratitude. When faced with chronic negativity, gratitude becomes an essential practice. By focusing on what is going well in your life, on the things you are thankful for, you can counteract the effects of negativity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, regularly reflected on the things he was grateful for, even in the face of immense personal and political challenges. He understood that gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, from what's wrong to what's right. By making gratitude a daily practice, you can cultivate a mindset that is resilient to negativity. Another strategy the Stoics offer for dealing with chronic negativity is the practice of detachment. This doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world or becoming indifferent to others, but rather, it means not allowing the emotions and attitudes of others to affect your own state of mind. If someone around you is constantly negative, you can listen to them without internalizing their negativity. You can offer empathy without absorbing their pessimism. Stoic detachment allows you to remain calm and centered, even when others around you are not. It's also important to recognize the difference between helping someone who is going through a tough time and becoming entangled in someone's chronic negativity. Stoicism encourages compassion and support, but it also teaches the importance of maintaining boundaries. If someone's negativity is starting to affect your own peace of mind, it's okay to step back. It's okay to protect yourself. You can still offer support and empathy without sacrificing your own well-being. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, and Stoicism reminds us that we must protect our own inner tranquility first. Negativity often stems from fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of change. The Stoics taught that fear is one of the most destructive emotions, but it can be overcome through reason and understanding. When you encounter chronic negativity in others, it's often rooted in their fears. Instead of getting pulled into their fear-based thinking, you can use Stoic principles to rise above it. Ask yourself, is this fear rational? Is it based on something within my control? More often than not, the answer is no. By recognizing the irrationality of fear, you can distance yourself from the negativity it breeds and maintain your peace. One of the most difficult aspects of dealing with chronic negativity is that it often comes from people you care about. It can be hard to distance yourself from a friend, family member, or colleague who is constantly negative. But Stoicism teaches that your peace is your responsibility. You can still care for these people without allowing their negativity to infiltrate your life. It's a delicate balance, but one that Stoicism helps you achieve. By setting boundaries, practicing detachment, and reframing negative situations, you can protect your peace while still maintaining your relationships. It's also worth noting that chronic negativity can sometimes be a reflection of your own inner state. If you find yourself frequently surrounded by negativity, it may be a sign that you need to examine your own mindset. Stoicism encourages self-reflection and self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your own thoughts and attitudes. Are you contributing to the negativity in your life? Are you allowing external circumstances to dictate your inner peace? By becoming more aware of your own thoughts, you can begin to shift your mindset and cultivate a more positive, Stoic approach to life. Stoicism also teaches us that negativity, like all emotions, is temporary. Just as the Stoics remind us that life is fleeting, so too are the emotions we experience within it. Chronic negativity may feel overwhelming in the moment, but it is not permanent. By practicing patience and maintaining your Stoic principles, you can weather the storm of negativity and emerge on the other side with your peace intact. This understanding gives you strength. It reminds you that no matter how heavy the negativity feels, it will pass, and you have the power to remain steady throughout it. In the end, protecting your peace in the face of chronic negativity is about making choices. Choices about who you spend your time with, how you respond to difficult situations, and what kind of thoughts you allow to take root in your mind. Stoicism offers clear guidance on how to make these choices wisely. By recognizing negativity for what it is and employing Stoic strategies to counteract it, you can protect your peace, maintain your clarity, and live a life that is aligned with your values. This journey isn't about avoiding all negativity or pretending that it doesn't exist. Life will always present challenges, and negativity is a part of the human experience. But Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to choose how we respond to these challenges. We have the power to protect our peace, no matter what negativity comes our way. And in doing so, we create a life that is not only resilient to negativity, but filled with a deeper sense of purpose, joy, and clarity. As we explored the draining effects of chronic negativity and how Stoicism helps you protect your peace, another toxic trait that often lurks beneath the surface is self-centeredness. While chronic negativity can weigh you down, self-centered behavior goes a step further, seeking to consume your attention and energy entirely. Narcissism, a deeper form of self-centeredness, can be especially harmful. It's the kind of behavior that makes you feel small, unimportant, or invisible in someone else's world. But Stoicism, with its focus on self-reflection and emotional resilience, provides the tools to not only recognize narcissism, but to remain unaffected by it. Self-centered individuals live in a world where their needs, desires, and experiences take precedence over everything else. Conversations are dominated by their achievements, their problems, or their perspectives. What they fail to see is the effect this has on others, the way it diminishes the voices and needs of those around them. In this context, Stoicism serves as a mirror, helping you reflect on the nature of their behavior and your response to it. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of the importance of self-awareness, not just for your own behavior, but for understanding others. When you apply this Stoic lens, you can begin to see narcissism for what it truly is, a deep-seated insecurity masked as arrogance and self-importance. Narcissists seek validation, often manipulating others into providing them with constant attention. They thrive on praise, and when it's not forthcoming, they may resort to passive-aggressive tactics or emotional manipulation to get it. One of the keys to dealing with this behavior through Stoic reflection is understanding that their need for validation is not your responsibility. Epictetus reminds us that what others think of us is beyond our control. By internalizing this, you can free yourself from the pressure to constantly please or validate a narcissist. Their approval, or lack thereof, does not define your worth. One of the hallmarks of narcissistic behavior is a lack of empathy. Narcissists often struggle to see beyond their own experiences and needs, leaving little room for the feelings or perspectives of others. This can make interactions with them feel one-sided, as though you're merely a supporting character in their narrative. Stoicism, however, teaches that true strength comes from understanding, not from seeking to be understood. When you approach these situations with empathy, not in the sense of excusing their behavior, but in recognizing their limitations, you begin to detach emotionally. You no longer expect the narcissist to behave in ways that align with your values, and this detachment gives you peace. In many cases, narcissists will attempt to control or dominate situations, whether through manipulation, flattery, or even intimidation. They may insist on getting their way, and when they don't, they can become angry or dismissive. Stoic reflection teaches that such behavior is rooted in a lack of inner stability. A narcissist's need to control is often a reflection of their inability to control themselves. Seneca reminds us that he who is master of himself is greater than he who is master of the world. This idea is critical when dealing with narcissistic individuals. By focusing on mastering your own emotions and responses, rather than trying to control the behavior of the narcissist, you reclaim your power. One of the challenges in dealing with narcissistic individuals is that they often project their own insecurities onto others. They may criticize or belittle you, not because of any real flaw in your character, but because they see in you something they lack in themselves. Stoicism teaches the importance of knowing yourself deeply, of being so secure in your own sense of self that the criticisms of others cannot shake you. Marcus Aurelius advises us to receive without pride, let go without attachment. This Stoic principle allows you to maintain your composure in the face of narcissistic criticism. You understand that their words are not a reflection of who you are, but of their own internal struggles. Narcissistic behavior often involves creating a false sense of superiority. Narcissists may downplay your accomplishments, exaggerate their own, or seek to diminish your self-esteem to keep you in a position where they feel superior. Stoicism, however, emphasizes the importance of humility and self-respect. True confidence, according to the Stoics, comes from within, not from the approval or validation of others. By grounding yourself in Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, and justice, you create a foundation of self-worth that cannot be shaken by the false superiority of others. You become immune to their attempts to elevate themselves at your expense. Stoic philosophy also teaches the importance of recognizing your own triggers and vulnerabilities when dealing with narcissists. It's easy to become defensive, frustrated, or hurt when someone consistently disregards your needs or belittles your efforts. But Stoicism calls for emotional discipline, an ability to rise above the immediate reaction and respond with calm rationality. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather acknowledging them without letting them control your actions. When you respond to narcissistic behavior from a place of calm self-assurance, you not only protect your peace, but also limit the narcissist's ability to manipulate your emotions. Boundaries are crucial when dealing with narcissistic individuals, and Stoicism offers a clear framework for setting and maintaining them. Narcissists often disregard the personal boundaries of others, seeing them as obstacles to getting what they want. They may push, manipulate, or guilt you into crossing your own limits. But Stoic reflection reminds us that maintaining boundaries is an act of self-respect. Seneca speaks of the importance of safeguarding your time and energy, two resources that narcissists are quick to drain. By clearly defining what you will and will not tolerate, and by standing firm in those decisions, you protect your peace and prevent the narcissist from overstepping their bounds. Another aspect of narcissistic behavior is the constant need for attention. Narcissists often create drama or chaos to ensure that they remain the center of focus. This can be emotionally exhausting for those around them, as they are constantly drawn into situations that require them to cater to the narcissist's needs. Stoicism teaches us to remain unaffected by the chaos of others. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of staying calm in the midst of external turmoil. By practicing this Stoic principle, you can observe the narcissist's behavior without becoming entangled in their emotional drama. You maintain your inner stability, no matter how much they try to disrupt it. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of focusing on your own personal growth, regardless of the behavior of those around you. Narcissists may attempt to stifle your growth, either by dismissing your achievements or by creating an environment where your needs are constantly overshadowed by theirs. But Stoicism teaches that true growth comes from within. Epictetus encourages us to focus on our own development, to cultivate wisdom, and to live according to our values. When you prioritize your personal growth over the approval or validation of a narcissist, you reclaim your power. You stop seeking recognition from those who are incapable of giving it, and instead find fulfillment in your own progress. Dealing with narcissistic individuals can sometimes lead to feelings of isolation, as their behavior can create a sense of distance between you and others. Stoicism, however, teaches the value of community and the importance of surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Narcissists often try to isolate those they wish to control, but by fostering healthy relationships with others, you create a network of support that helps you maintain your emotional balance. Stoicism encourages you to seek out relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding, rather than ones where your worth is determined by someone else's ego. In the end, Stoicism offers a path to emotional freedom when dealing with narcissistic individuals. By reflecting on their behavior through the lens of Stoic philosophy, you can see beyond the surface and understand the deeper motivations behind their actions. This understanding allows you to remain calm, centered, and unaffected by their attempts to control or diminish you. You learn to protect your peace, set boundaries, and focus on your own growth, all while maintaining a sense of compassion for the flaws and limitations of others. As you continue to apply Stoic principles in your interactions with narcissistic individuals, you'll find that their behavior no longer has the same power over you. You'll become more resilient, more self-assured, and more capable of navigating difficult relationships with grace and wisdom. And in doing so, you create a life that is rooted in Stoic virtues, a life where peace, clarity, and self-respect guide your every decision. Now that we've explored the depths of narcissism and how Stoicism helps you rise above its toxic influence, it's time to turn our attention to one of the most vital tools in maintaining your peace: boundaries. Specifically, how Stoicism guides you in recognizing when your boundaries are being violated and how to uphold them without compromising your values or well-being. Boundaries are the foundation upon which your mental and emotional health rests, and understanding how to set and defend them is key to living a life of balance and tranquility. As you've come to understand the profound impact of self-centered behavior and narcissism, there is one essential element that protects you from their influence: boundaries. Without boundaries, the emotional toll of dealing with toxic behavior escalates, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation, disrespect, and control. Boundaries are not just lines drawn in the sand. They are the core of self-respect, the invisible shields that protect your peace, your time, and your emotional well-being. Stoicism provides timeless wisdom in helping you recognize when these boundaries are being violated and how to defend them with strength and clarity. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of control plays a crucial role in understanding boundaries. Epictetus teaches us that we can only control our own actions, not the actions of others. This principle is key when setting and maintaining boundaries. While you cannot stop others from overstepping their bounds, you can control how you respond. This means that boundary violations don't have to result in chaos or resentment. Instead, they can be met with calm firmness. When someone crosses a line, Stoicism guides you to address it with rationality rather than emotion, standing your ground without being pulled into conflict. Boundary violations often come in subtle forms. Someone may push a little too hard, make unreasonable demands, or disregard your time, all under the guise of familiarity or friendship. Stoicism encourages mindfulness, teaching you to remain alert to these small infringements before they grow into larger problems. By staying present and aware of how others treat you, you can recognize when your boundaries are being eroded. The Stoics remind us that maintaining self-awareness is crucial. If you find yourself feeling increasingly frustrated, drained, or uncomfortable around certain people, this is often a signal that your boundaries are being compromised. One of the challenges in recognizing boundary violations is the fear of confrontation. Many people avoid setting firm boundaries because they worry about causing tension or damaging relationships. But Stoicism teaches that true strength lies in honesty and integrity, even when it's uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius speaks of the importance of living according to your principles, regardless of external pressures. When you fail to set boundaries out of fear, you sacrifice your own well-being for the comfort of others. Stoicism guides you to act in alignment with your values, even if it means having difficult conversations or risking disapproval. Another important aspect of boundaries is understanding your own limits. The Stoics often emphasize the importance of self-knowledge. If you are unclear about your own needs, values, or limits, it becomes difficult to establish clear boundaries. Seneca wrote about the need for self-reflection, urging us to take time to understand ourselves fully. When you know what is important to you, what you can tolerate, and what you cannot, you gain the clarity needed to communicate your boundaries effectively. Setting boundaries is not about creating walls between you and others, but about defining the space in which you can thrive. This is a fundamental aspect of self-respect. When boundaries are ignored or violated repeatedly, frustration often turns into resentment. You may start to feel taken advantage of, leading to tension in your relationships. Stoicism, however, teaches that you have the power to stop this cycle before it begins. By addressing boundary violations early and with clarity, you prevent resentment from building. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to act with calmness and reason, even in the face of discomfort. Rather than allowing frustrations to fester, Stoicism encourages you to address issues directly and constructively. By doing so, you maintain both your peace of mind and the integrity of your relationships. There are times when boundary violations come from those closest to you, family members, close friends, or colleagues. These relationships can make it especially difficult to set firm boundaries because emotions are involved and the lines between personal and relational needs become blurred. But Stoicism teaches the importance of equity in relationships. Seneca spoke of the importance of fairness, both to yourself and others. If someone close to you consistently disrespects your boundaries, it's essential to address this imbalance with compassion, but also firmness. Setting boundaries in these situations is not a sign of selfishness, but of mutual respect. It shows that you value the relationship enough to ensure that it remains healthy and balanced. The fear of losing relationships often keeps people from enforcing boundaries. There's a worry that by standing up for yourself, you might push someone away. But Stoicism reminds us that relationships built on respect will grow stronger when boundaries are upheld. Those who truly value you will respect your limits, and those who don't may drift away. But this is not a loss. Epictetus teaches that the only relationships worth maintaining are those that support your growth and well-being. In this sense, boundaries act as a filter, helping you identify which relationships are healthy and which are toxic. There's also the issue of guilt that often accompanies boundary setting. Many people feel that by setting boundaries, they are being selfish or demanding. Stoicism counters this with the principle of justice, not only towards others, but also towards yourself. Marcus Aurelius writes about treating oneself with the same fairness and respect that you would extend to others. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it is an act of justice. It ensures that you can engage with others from a place of balance rather than sacrifice. By respecting your own needs, you are better able to respect and meet the needs of others in a healthy way. Another critical aspect of boundaries is understanding that they are not static. Boundaries need to evolve as your needs, circumstances, and relationships change. Stoicism teaches flexibility in how we navigate the world. The Stoics were not rigid in their approach to life, but understood that situations and relationships shift over time. As you grow and change, so too must your boundaries. It's important to regularly reflect on whether your boundaries are still serving you or whether they need to be adjusted. This continuous self-assessment, as encouraged by Stoic philosophy, helps ensure that you remain aligned with your values and emotional well-being. At times, enforcing boundaries requires the courage to walk away. There are situations where, despite your best efforts, others will continue to disregard your limits. In these cases, Stoicism offers the strength to let go. Epictetus famously taught that some things are simply not within our control, and trying to change others is one of those things. If someone consistently violates your boundaries, it may be a sign that the relationship is no longer healthy. Stoicism gives you the clarity and resolve to distance yourself from relationships that do more harm than good, knowing that your peace is worth far more than the discomfort of walking away. Setting boundaries also requires clear communication and Stoicism emphasizes the importance of speaking with intention and clarity. Seneca often discussed the value of measured speech, words that are thoughtful and intentional, not reactive. When communicating boundaries, it's essential to be clear but calm. Stoicism encourages you to avoid emotional outbursts or accusations, instead focusing on the facts. By stating your boundaries calmly and with confidence, you leave little room for misunderstanding. This direct approach not only reinforces your boundaries, but also shows that you are serious about maintaining them. The Stoics also teach the importance of patience in the process of setting and maintaining boundaries. People may not always respond positively to your boundaries immediately. They may push back or test your limits. But Stoicism reminds us that patience and perseverance are key virtues. As you enforce your boundaries, you may need to reinforce them multiple times before they are respected. This doesn't mean that you should give up or weaken your stance. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of the need to stay the course, even when met with resistance. By staying firm and patient, you ultimately train others to respect your boundaries. In navigating the complexities of boundary setting, it's also essential to reflect on how you respect the boundaries of others. Stoicism teaches us that the way we treat others is a reflection of our own values. If you expect your boundaries to be respected, it's important to show the same respect to others. This reciprocity strengthens relationships and fosters mutual respect. By honoring the boundaries of those around you, you create a space where everyone feels valued and supported. As you deepen your understanding of Stoicism and boundaries, you'll find that this practice not only protects your peace, but also enhances your relationships. Boundaries are not barriers to connection, but rather frameworks that allow relationships to flourish in a healthy and balanced way. They ensure that both parties are able to engage from a place of mutual respect, without resentment or emotional strain. Moving forward, as you continue to apply Stoic principles to your life, you'll discover that boundaries are not just about protecting yourself from others, but also about creating a life of integrity. They allow you to live in alignment with your values, ensuring that your actions reflect your true self. Boundaries are a reflection of your inner strength and clarity, and by maintaining them, you cultivate a life of purpose, peace, and emotional freedom. Now that we've explored how Stoicism guides you in recognizing and defending your boundaries, it's time to look at another important aspect of Stoic virtue: honesty. Specifically, how identifying dishonesty in others through the lens of Stoic virtue can help you discern integrity and avoid relationships built on false foundations. Living a life of truth not only involves speaking honestly, but also surrounding yourself with people who do the same, and this is where Stoicism provides invaluable guidance. As you've explored the role of boundaries and how Stoicism empowers you to protect your peace, another critical element comes into focus: truth. Boundaries are only as strong as the trust that exists within them, and when dishonesty enters the picture, it can erode even the most secure relationships. Integrity is the foundation upon which trust is built, and Stoicism offers profound insights into recognizing when that foundation is being compromised. Dishonesty, whether in words or actions, leaves a trail of confusion, betrayal, and emotional chaos. Learning to discern the presence of dishonesty is key to maintaining relationships rooted in truth, respect, and virtue. In Stoicism, virtue is not just an ideal, but a way of life, with honesty being one of its central pillars. When someone is dishonest, they violate not only the trust between individuals, but also the broader principle of living a virtuous life. The Stoics believed that living in alignment with truth is essential for peace of mind and emotional balance. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, It is within our power to always seek truth, both in ourselves and in others. Recognizing dishonesty, then, becomes a critical skill in safeguarding your peace and ensuring that your relationships are built on solid ground. Dishonesty often starts small, disguised as white lies or half-truths. It may seem harmless at first, a little exaggeration here, a withheld fact there, but over time, these small deceits add up, creating a web of confusion. Stoicism encourages mindfulness, the practice of being present and aware in all interactions. By paying close attention to inconsistencies in what others say and do, you can start to identify when dishonesty is at play. When someone's actions don't align with their words, or when they avoid direct answers, these are signs that something deeper may be wrong. Stoic reflection helps you stay grounded in your observations without jumping to conclusions, allowing you to approach dishonesty with a clear mind. The Stoics taught that self-awareness is the first step toward understanding the behaviors of others. Epictetus emphasized that we cannot control others, only ourselves. But in controlling ourselves, we gain the ability to observe and understand those around us with greater clarity. When you are centered in your own integrity, dishonesty in others becomes more apparent. A person who consistently lies or manipulates stands out clearly against the backdrop of your own commitment to truth. This contrast makes it easier to recognize dishonesty without becoming emotionally entangled in it. One of the most harmful aspects of dishonesty is that it creates a disconnection from reality. When someone lies, they are distorting the truth, often to protect themselves or to manipulate others. This disconnection can make you feel confused, doubting your own perceptions and judgment. Stoicism teaches that clarity of thought and perception is crucial for navigating life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the importance of seeing things as they are, not as we wish them to be. When faced with dishonesty, it's essential to remain clear-eyed, to recognize that the problem lies with the liar, not with your ability to perceive truth. By staying anchored in this clarity, you can avoid being drawn into the confusion that dishonesty creates. Another challenge with dishonesty is the emotional toll it takes. When someone lies to you, especially someone close to you, it can create feelings of betrayal, anger, and hurt. Stoicism, however, encourages you to step back from these emotional reactions and view the situation with reason. Seneca taught that emotions like anger are the result of misplaced expectations. When you expect others to act with integrity and they don't, it's natural to feel disappointed. But Stoicism reminds us to adjust our expectations and accept that not everyone lives by the same principles of truth and honesty. By lowering your emotional expectations of others, you protect yourself from the sting of betrayal when dishonesty arises. Dishonesty also often reveals itself through patterns. A single lie, though damaging, can sometimes be excused or forgiven, but repeated dishonesty points to a deeper issue with someone's character. The Stoics placed great importance on character, viewing it as the true measure of a person. When you observe a pattern of dishonesty in someone's behavior, it's important to recognize that this is not just a series of isolated incidents, but a reflection of their lack of integrity. Stoicism helps you see these patterns clearly and make rational decisions about how to respond. Rather than confronting every lie or betrayal with emotional intensity, Stoicism encourages you to assess the situation calmly, looking at the larger picture of someone's character. There is also the issue of self-deception, where a person may lie not only to others, but to themselves. This is perhaps one of the most insidious forms of dishonesty because it is often unconscious. Someone may believe their own lies or rationalize their behavior in ways that allow them to maintain a false sense of integrity. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-reflection, both for yourself and in understanding others. When you encounter someone who is self-deceptive, it's important to recognize that their dishonesty is deeply rooted in their own inability to confront uncomfortable truths. This understanding helps you avoid taking their lies personally. Instead, you can approach their dishonesty with compassion, recognizing that they are caught in their own web of falsehoods. Another aspect of dishonesty is manipulation, where lies are used not just to deceive, but to control. This type of dishonesty can be particularly damaging because it undermines your autonomy. Manipulative individuals use lies to steer your actions, decisions, and emotions in ways that serve their own interests. Stoicism offers a powerful defense against manipulation by emphasizing the importance of rational thinking and emotional independence. Epictetus taught that we should never allow our happiness or decisions to be dictated by external forces, including the lies of others. By maintaining control over your own thoughts and actions, you resist the pull of manipulative dishonesty. Dishonesty often breeds more dishonesty. Once someone starts lying, they must continue to cover up their initial lies, creating an ever-growing web of deceit. This cycle can be exhausting, not just for the person lying, but for those caught in the fallout. Stoicism reminds you to step outside this cycle. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of the importance of simplicity in life, of not complicating things unnecessarily. When you recognize dishonesty, you have a choice: to become entangled in the liar's web or to distance yourself from it. By choosing simplicity and clarity, you refuse to participate in the escalating cycle of lies and deceit. Trust is one of the most valuable elements in any relationship, and dishonesty shatters that trust. Once trust is broken, it's difficult, if not impossible, to fully restore. The Stoics understood the value of trust, both in others and in oneself. When someone lies to you, they betray not only your trust, but also their own integrity. Stoicism encourages you to prioritize trust in your relationships. If someone repeatedly lies or manipulates, it may be necessary to re-evaluate the relationship. Seneca advised that we should associate with those who uplift and improve us. If dishonesty becomes a recurring theme in your interactions with someone, it's important to consider whether that relationship is truly beneficial to your well-being. At times, confronting dishonesty head-on is necessary, and Stoicism provides guidance on how to do so effectively. Seneca emphasized the importance of measured speech, approaching difficult conversations with calmness and reason rather than anger or frustration. When confronting someone about their dishonesty, it's essential to remain composed and focused on the facts. Avoid accusations or emotional outbursts, which can escalate the situation. Instead, use clear, direct language to address the dishonesty and express how it has affected you. By approaching the conversation with stoic calmness, you maintain control over the situation and prevent it from spiraling into conflict. Forgiveness is another component of dealing with dishonesty. Stoicism teaches that while we should strive to live in accordance with virtue, we must also recognize the imperfections in others. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of accepting human flaws. While dishonesty is a serious breach of trust, Stoicism encourages us to approach it with understanding. This doesn't mean excusing the behavior, but rather acknowledging that people make mistakes. In some cases, forgiveness may be appropriate, especially if the person shows genuine remorse and a willingness to change. However, forgiveness does not mean allowing repeated violations of trust. Stoicism teaches a balance between compassion and self-respect. Dishonesty also challenges your ability to remain objective. When someone lies to you, it can be easy to react emotionally, allowing feelings of anger or betrayal to cloud your judgment. But Stoicism emphasizes the importance of staying rational and objective, even in the face of dishonesty. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the need to rise above emotional reactions and see situations for what they truly are. When you encounter dishonesty, it's important to remain calm and focused on the facts. By staying objective, you can make clear-headed decisions about how to proceed, whether that means addressing the dishonesty directly, setting boundaries, or even walking away from the relationship. Living a life of truth means surrounding yourself with people who also value honesty and integrity. Stoicism teaches that we are influenced by the company we keep, and therefore it's essential to choose relationships that support your commitment to truth. When you surround yourself with honest individuals, you create an environment where trust can flourish. Stoicism encourages you to seek out relationships that are built on mutual respect and truthfulness, allowing you to live in alignment with your values. Now that we've examined how Stoicism guides you in identifying dishonesty and fostering relationships built on integrity, the next crucial step is recognizing the destructive forces of envy and jealousy. Stoicism offers profound insights into how these emotions can silently undermine relationships and personal well-being, and understanding how to detect and respond to them is vital in maintaining a balanced and peaceful life. As we continue, we'll explore how Stoicism helps you see through the hidden resentment that envy and jealousy bring, allowing you to protect yourself from their damaging effects. As we've explored the corrosive nature of dishonesty and the role Stoicism plays in helping you navigate through deception with clarity and integrity, another equally destructive force lurks beneath the surface of many relationships: envy and jealousy. These emotions, often hidden behind smiles and polite words, can silently fester, breeding resentment and undermining trust. They are more subtle than dishonesty, yet just as dangerous. Envy and jealousy are not always immediately visible, but their effects are profound. Stoicism offers invaluable guidance in recognizing these emotions, both in yourself and others, so that you can protect your peace and maintain relationships rooted in respect and sincerity. Envy and jealousy stem from comparison. When someone is envious or jealous, it's because they perceive that another person has something they lack, be it success, admiration, or material possessions. This perception creates a sense of inadequacy, fueling resentment. Stoicism, however, teaches that such comparisons are illusions. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we should focus on our own path, our own progress, and not be swayed by what others have or achieve. The moment you step into the world of comparison, you give away your peace. Recognizing envy and jealousy begins with understanding that these emotions are rooted in insecurity and a lack of self-awareness. In your interactions with others, envy and jealousy can reveal themselves in subtle ways: backhanded compliments, passive-aggressive remarks, or an underlying tension that seems to bubble up during moments of your success. Someone might congratulate you, but the warmth in their words feels hollow, or you may notice that they seem uncomfortable when you share your achievements. These are signs of hidden envy. Stoicism teaches us to observe these behaviors without judgment, to recognize that envy is more a reflection of the other person's internal struggles than anything to do with you. Epictetus reminds us that we cannot control the feelings of others, but we can control how we respond. It's essential to remain vigilant in identifying envy and jealousy early on. These emotions often start small, but if left unchecked, they can grow into deeper resentment, poisoning relationships over time. The Stoic practice of mindfulness plays a crucial role here. By staying present and aware of how people respond to your successes, you can detect shifts in their behavior. A person who once celebrated your achievements might begin to distance themselves or make cutting remarks disguised as humor. Stoicism encourages you to address these issues calmly and directly, ensuring that hidden resentment doesn't have the opportunity to grow into something more harmful. Envy and jealousy often mask themselves in competition. Someone might feel the need to constantly one-up you or subtly downplay your accomplishments while highlighting their own. This behavior can create an uncomfortable dynamic where conversations feel less like exchanges and more like battles for superiority. Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes from within and is not dependent on external validation. When faced with competitive behavior driven by envy, it's important to stay grounded in your own sense of self-worth. Marcus Aurelius speaks of the futility of seeking approval or validation from others, reminding us that real satisfaction comes from living in accordance with our values. By staying focused on your own path and refusing to engage in unhealthy competition, you maintain your peace. One of the most destructive aspects of envy and jealousy is that they often lead to sabotage, whether intentional or unconscious. Someone who is envious of your success may begin to undermine you, either by spreading gossip, creating doubt about your abilities, or subtly blocking your progress. Stoicism helps you recognize these behaviors for what they are, signs of deep insecurity in the other person. Seneca often wrote about the importance of recognizing the flaws in others without letting them affect your own sense of purpose. When you encounter someone who attempts to sabotage your efforts, Stoicism teaches you to remain calm, focused, and undeterred. Their actions reflect their own struggles, not your worth. Another form envy can take is the inability to genuinely celebrate the successes of others. This often appears as a lack of enthusiasm or a subtle dismissal of your achievements. Someone who is envious may downplay your accomplishments or avoid acknowledging them altogether. This can create a sense of isolation, where you feel unsupported by those around you. Stoicism offers a remedy for this by teaching the importance of self-sufficiency. Epictetus reminds us that we should not rely on the praise or recognition of others for our happiness. When you understand this, the sting of someone's lack of support diminishes. You realize that their response, or lack thereof, is not a reflection of your success, but of their inability to cope with their own insecurities. In relationships, jealousy often manifests as possessiveness or control. A partner, friend, or family member may feel threatened by your connections with others or your personal growth, leading them to try and limit your opportunities or relationships. Stoicism teaches that true love and friendship are built on freedom and trust, not control. Seneca believed that relationships should be based on mutual respect and the desire for the other person's growth and happiness. When you encounter jealousy in your relationships, it's important to assess whether the dynamic is healthy or whether it has become stifling. Stoicism encourages you to set boundaries when jealousy begins to erode trust and freedom. Envy and jealousy, while often directed at others, can also exist within yourself. It's important to recognize when these emotions arise in your own mind. Stoicism teaches self-reflection as a tool for personal growth. If you find yourself feeling envious or jealous of someone else's success, beauty, or relationships, it's crucial to acknowledge those feelings without judgment. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of understanding our own emotions and not being ruled by them. By recognizing envy within yourself, you take the first step toward freeing yourself from its grip. You can then redirect your focus back to your own path, your own progress, and cultivate gratitude for what you have. Gratitude is one of the most powerful antidotes to envy and jealousy. When you focus on what you lack, It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, which leads to resentment. But when you practice gratitude, you shift your focus to what you already possess: your strengths, your achievements, your relationships. Stoicism encourages the daily practice of gratitude as a way to remain grounded in the present and content with your own life. By regularly reflecting on the things you are thankful for, you inoculate yourself against the corrosive effects of envy and jealousy. One of the reasons envy and jealousy are so harmful is that they create a sense of separation between people. Instead of fostering connection and support, these emotions build walls, making it difficult to form meaningful relationships. Stoicism teaches the importance of seeing others as part of the same human community. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the interconnectedness of all people, emphasizing that we are all part of the same whole. When you view others through this lens, it becomes easier to celebrate their successes rather than feel threatened by them. Their achievements do not diminish your own. Instead, they are part of the shared human experience. Stoicism also teaches that envy and jealousy are distractions from your true purpose. When you are consumed by what others have or what you lack, you lose sight of your own goals and values. Epictetus reminds us to focus on what is within our control: our actions, our thoughts, our choices. By redirecting your energy away from envy and toward your own growth, you reclaim your power. You stop wasting time on comparisons and instead invest in your own development, which ultimately leads to greater fulfillment. Addressing envy and jealousy in relationships requires compassion. When you recognize these emotions in others, it's important to approach the situation with empathy rather than judgment. Stoicism teaches that people are often driven by their own insecurities and fears, and envy is no exception. By understanding that someone's jealousy is a reflection of their internal struggles, you can approach them with kindness while still maintaining your boundaries. Seneca emphasized the importance of treating others with dignity, even when their actions are harmful. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but rather responding in a way that aligns with your own values. It's also important to be aware of the impact that envy and jealousy can have on group dynamics, whether in friendships, workplaces, or communities. These emotions can create a toxic environment where competition and resentment overshadow collaboration and support. Stoicism teaches the importance of fostering environments where mutual respect and growth are prioritized. By recognizing when envy and jealousy are affecting a group dynamic, you can take steps to address the issue, either by confronting it directly or by setting a positive example through your own actions. Stoicism encourages you to be a source of stability and integrity, even when others are consumed by their own insecurities. As you continue to practice Stoic principles, you'll find that your ability to detect and respond to envy and jealousy becomes sharper. You'll learn to navigate these emotions, whether in yourself or others, with clarity, compassion, and strength. Envy and jealousy are deeply human emotions, but they do not have to control you. By staying grounded in your own values, focusing on your own path, and cultivating gratitude, you can rise above these destructive forces and maintain relationships built on trust, respect, and genuine connection. Having explored how Stoicism helps you recognize and handle envy and jealousy, it's now time to turn your attention to another toxic influence that can undermine your peace: energy vampires. These are the individuals who drain your emotional and mental resources, leaving you feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. Stoicism provides powerful strategies for protecting your mental well-being when dealing with these individuals, allowing you to maintain your balance and peace in the face of their constant demands. After exploring how Stoicism helps you navigate the corrosive forces of envy and jealousy, it's crucial to turn to another common, yet often unnoticed threat to your mental well-being: energy vampires. These are individuals who seem to drain your energy, leaving you emotionally exhausted after every interaction. They may not always be malicious, but their constant need for attention, validation, or emotional support can sap your strength, making it difficult to maintain your own peace of mind. Stoicism provides the tools to deal with such individuals, helping you protect your mental and emotional energy with resilience and composure. Energy vampires are those who, intentionally or not, seem to pull you into their chaos, constantly drawing on your emotional reserves without offering anything in return. These individuals may present themselves as needing your help, guidance, or attention, but over time, their demands become overwhelming. Stoicism teaches the importance of balance in all relationships. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the need to protect your inner peace, to ensure that you remain centered even in the midst of external challenges. When faced with energy vampires, it's essential to recognize that their constant need for attention is not something you are obligated to fulfill. You are not responsible for carrying the emotional burdens of others at the expense of your own well-being. One of the key insights Stoicism offers in dealing with energy vampires is the distinction between what is within your control and what is not. Epictetus reminds us that while we can offer support and guidance, we cannot change or fix other people's problems. Energy vampires often seek to pull you into their struggles, expecting you to resolve their issues or provide them with constant reassurance. However, Stoicism teaches that you must draw a line between empathy and overextension. By recognizing that you cannot control the emotions or decisions of others, you free yourself from the pressure to be their emotional crutch. Stoicism also encourages emotional detachment, a concept that is essential when dealing with energy vampires. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or lack of care. Rather, it is the ability to maintain your emotional equilibrium despite the chaos that others may bring into your life. When an energy vampire seeks to pull you into their drama or constant need for attention, Stoicism teaches you to remain calm and composed, to observe their behavior without becoming entangled in it. This practice allows you to maintain your own mental well-being while still offering support, but on your terms. Seneca emphasized the importance of controlling your emotional responses, ensuring that you don't allow external forces to dictate your internal state. By practicing detachment, you can interact with energy vampires without losing your own balance. Another important Stoic principle is the concept of boundaries. Energy vampires often lack awareness of the boundaries they cross, whether intentionally or not. They may expect constant attention, frequent reassurance, or an endless supply of emotional energy, all while disregarding your own needs. Setting clear boundaries is essential for protecting your mental well-being. Stoicism teaches that it's not only acceptable, but necessary to limit the access others have to your emotional energy. Seneca wrote about the value of guarding your time and resources, and this applies to your emotional resources as well. By setting boundaries with energy vampires, whether that means limiting the time you spend with them or being clear about what you're willing to engage with, you protect your peace and prevent burnout. Energy vampires often operate under the guise of needing help or support, but in reality, they drain your energy without any real desire for resolution or growth. This endless cycle can leave you feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. Stoicism, however, offers a way out of this cycle by reminding you that true support is about empowering others to take control of their own lives, not about doing the work for them. Epictetus emphasized the importance of self-reliance and personal responsibility. When dealing with energy vampires, it's essential to encourage them to take responsibility for their own emotions and challenges, rather than relying on you to provide constant emotional sustenance. This doesn't mean abandoning them, but rather guiding them towards self-sufficiency. Another common trait of energy vampires is their tendency to magnify problems, creating a sense of urgency or crisis around even the smallest issues. This constant state of emotional emergency can be exhausting for those around them. Stoicism, however, teaches the value of perspective. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the fleeting nature of life's challenges, reminding us that most problems are not as significant as they seem in the moment. When an energy vampire attempts to pull you into their emotional crisis, Stoicism encourages you to step back and view the situation with clarity and reason. By maintaining perspective, you avoid being swept up in their exaggerated sense of urgency and can offer calm, rational support without being drained. It's also important to recognize the patterns of behavior that energy vampires exhibit. They may consistently seek attention during moments when you are most vulnerable or when they sense that you are emotionally available. This pattern can become manipulative over time as they learn to exploit your kindness or willingness to help. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-awareness in all interactions. By becoming mindful of the patterns in your relationships, you can recognize when someone is consistently drawing on your energy without offering anything in return. This awareness allows you to set firmer boundaries and protect your well-being without feeling guilty or obligated to meet their endless demands. One of the challenges of dealing with energy vampires is the sense of guilt that often accompanies the desire to distance yourself from them. You may feel that by pulling back, you are abandoning someone in need or failing to live up to your own values of compassion and support. Stoicism, however, teaches that compassion must be balanced with wisdom. Seneca often wrote about the importance of helping others, but he also emphasized the need to protect yourself from being consumed by the problems of others. True compassion is about offering help in a way that empowers others, not in a way that depletes your own energy. By setting boundaries with energy vampires, you are not abandoning them. You are ensuring that you can continue to offer support from a place of strength rather than exhaustion. Stoicism also encourages you to examine your own motivations in relationships with energy vampires. Are you trying to help out of a genuine desire to support, or are you acting out of a need for validation or approval? Energy vampires often feed off people who derive a sense of self-worth from helping others, knowing that these individuals will continue to give, even to their own detriment. Epictetus reminds us that true virtue comes from within, not from external validation. By understanding your own motivations, you can interact with energy vampires from a place of authenticity rather than from a need to be seen as helpful or compassionate. This self-awareness allows you to maintain healthy boundaries without feeling the need to prove your worth through constant support. Another key Stoic principle is the idea of conserving your resources. Seneca often wrote about the importance of managing your time, energy, and attention wisely. Just as you wouldn't spend all your money on something that provides no return, you shouldn't expend all your emotional energy on relationships that drain you without offering anything in return. By treating your emotional resources as valuable, you ensure that you have the energy and resilience to invest in relationships and activities that truly matter to you. This doesn't mean being selfish or withdrawing from others entirely, but rather being selective about where you direct your energy. Stoicism teaches that by protecting your emotional well-being, you are better equipped to handle life's challenges and to support others in a meaningful way. Finally, Stoicism offers the concept of acceptance when dealing with energy vampires. There may be individuals in your life, family members, colleagues, or longtime friends, who are energy vampires, and distancing yourself from them may not always be possible or desirable. In these cases, Stoicism teaches the importance of accepting what you cannot change while maintaining control over your own reactions. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the need to accept the flaws and imperfections of others without letting them disturb your own peace. By practicing acceptance, you can interact with energy vampires without becoming drained or frustrated. You recognize their behavior for what it is, and while you may not be able to change them, you can change how you respond. In conclusion, energy vampires present a unique challenge in maintaining your mental well-being. Their constant demands can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, but Stoicism provides a powerful framework for dealing with them. By practicing emotional detachment, setting clear boundaries, and maintaining self-awareness, you can protect your peace while still offering support when appropriate. Stoicism encourages you to focus on what is within your control, to manage your emotional resources wisely, and to engage with others from a place of strength rather than depletion. In doing so, you create a life where your mental well-being is prioritized and your relationships are balanced and fulfilling. Having explored how to protect your energy from those who drain it, it's now essential to turn to another aspect of interpersonal dynamics that can greatly impact your mental well-being: gossip and drama. Stoicism offers valuable insights into recognizing and distancing yourself from toxic behaviors that fuel negativity and chaos. Understanding how to navigate these challenges will help you maintain your focus on what truly matters, ensuring that you stay grounded in a world often filled with distractions. After learning how to protect your energy from those who drain it, another significant challenge emerges: gossip and drama. These toxic behaviors can invade your life subtly, often disguised as harmless conversation or innocent entertainment. But beneath the surface, they create conflict, tension, and negativity. Gossip pulls you into unnecessary judgment, while drama entangles you in emotional upheaval that distracts from your true purpose. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote, guiding you to recognize these toxic behaviors and distance yourself from them before they take root in your mind and life. Gossip is one of the most pervasive forms of toxic behavior. It thrives on idle talk, speculation, and judgment, drawing you into conversations about others that serve no constructive purpose. Stoicism, however, teaches the importance of focusing on what truly matters: your own actions, thoughts, and growth. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the futility of engaging in matters that don't concern you. When you gossip, you divert attention away from your own development and place it on others, often in a negative light. This not only wastes your time, but also pulls you into a cycle of judgment and negativity that erodes your peace of mind. Stoicism encourages you to step away from such conversations, recognizing that they offer no value to your life or your growth. Gossip is often driven by the desire for connection or approval. People engage in gossip because it can create a sense of belonging. Shared secrets, mutual judgments, and collective disapproval of someone else can form a temporary bond. However, Stoicism teaches that true connection is based on honesty, integrity, and respect, not shared negativity. Epictetus reminds us that our character is shaped by the people we surround ourselves with and the conversations we choose to participate in. When you choose to distance yourself from gossip, you protect your own character, ensuring that your interactions with others are rooted in positivity and authenticity. Stoicism also highlights the importance of focusing on what is within your control. Engaging in gossip is a direct violation of this principle. When you gossip, you're speaking about things that are not within your control, other people's actions, decisions, or circumstances. This is a distraction from the only thing you truly have control over, yourself. Marcus Aurelius frequently advised against getting involved in the affairs of others, urging instead to focus on self-improvement and personal growth. By stepping away from gossip, you reclaim your time and mental energy, redirecting it toward things that actually matter in your own life. Drama, much like gossip, is fueled by emotional chaos and conflict. It thrives on exaggerated emotions, misunderstandings, and unnecessary confrontations. Those who create drama often do so as a means of gaining attention or control, pulling others into their emotional whirlwind. Stoicism teaches you to maintain calm and rationality in the face of emotional turbulence. When someone tries to draw you into drama, Stoicism encourages you to remain detached, observing the situation without becoming emotionally involved. Seneca often spoke of the importance of maintaining your inner peace, even when those around you are consumed by emotional chaos. By practicing this stoic detachment, you can avoid being pulled into drama and instead remain focused on your own path. One of the challenges of avoiding drama is that it can be addictive. Drama brings a rush of excitement, a sense of urgency, and the illusion of importance. But Stoicism teaches that true importance comes from living in accordance with your values, not from being embroiled in conflict. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to look beyond the surface of things, to see situations for what they truly are. Drama, when viewed through a Stoic lens, is revealed as shallow and meaningless. It distracts you from what truly matters: your peace, your purpose, and your growth. By recognizing this, you can make the conscious decision to step away from drama, even when it tries to pull you in. Another key aspect of avoiding gossip and drama is understanding the motives behind them. People often engage in gossip and drama because of insecurity, envy, or a need for validation. Stoicism teaches you to approach these behaviors with compassion rather than judgment. When you recognize that someone is spreading gossip or creating drama out of their own emotional struggles, it becomes easier to distance yourself without anger or resentment. Seneca emphasized the importance of understanding the flaws in others without allowing those flaws to disturb your own tranquility. By maintaining this perspective, you can detach from toxic behavior while still treating others with kindness. Stoicism also encourages you to reflect on your own participation in gossip and drama. It's easy to be drawn into these behaviors without realizing it. A seemingly innocent conversation can quickly turn into gossip, or a misunderstanding can escalate into drama before you know it. Epictetus urged constant self-reflection, reminding us to examine our own actions and thoughts. By becoming more mindful of how you engage with others, you can catch yourself before you get pulled into toxic conversations or conflicts. This self-awareness is key to maintaining your peace and avoiding the negative effects of gossip and drama. Another important Stoic principle is the idea of focusing on the present moment. Gossip and drama often involve dwelling on the past or speculating about the future, what someone did, what might happen, or how others will react. This pulls you out of the present, distracting you from what is truly important right now. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the importance of living fully in the present, recognizing that the past cannot be changed and the future is uncertain. By focusing on the present, you can avoid being drawn into gossip and drama, which rely on speculation and emotional overreaction. Instead, you remain grounded in the moment, making decisions that align with your values and priorities. Another aspect of avoiding gossip and drama is learning to recognize the impact they have on your mental and emotional well-being. Gossip and drama may seem trivial in the moment, but over time, they take a toll on your peace of mind. Constantly being involved in negativity, judgment, or conflict leaves you feeling drained and emotionally unsettled. Stoicism teaches that protecting your inner peace is essential for living a fulfilling life. Seneca often wrote about the importance of guarding your mind against unnecessary disturbances, ensuring that your thoughts and actions remain aligned with your true purpose. By distancing yourself from gossip and drama, you create space for calm, clarity, and peace in your life. It's also important to recognize the role that boundaries play in avoiding gossip and drama. People who thrive on these behaviors often push the boundaries of those around them, seeking to pull others into their emotional turbulence. Stoicism teaches the importance of setting and maintaining clear boundaries in all aspects of life. By establishing boundaries with those who engage in gossip or drama, you protect yourself from being drawn into their negativity. This might mean limiting your interactions with certain individuals or changing the subject when conversations start to veer into toxic territory. Marcus Aurelius spoke about the value of self-discipline, and setting boundaries is a key part of maintaining that discipline in your relationships. Another crucial element in avoiding gossip and drama is cultivating relationships with people who uplift and support you, rather than dragging you into negativity. Stoicism teaches that the company you keep has a profound impact on your character and well-being. Epictetus advised seeking out relationships that inspire you to grow, to live with virtue, and to pursue wisdom. When you surround yourself with individuals who are focused on personal growth and integrity, gossip and drama naturally fade from your life. These relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on judgment or emotional conflict. By consciously choosing to invest in positive, supportive relationships, you create an environment where gossip and drama have no place. Stoicism also emphasizes the power of silence. Sometimes the best way to avoid gossip and drama is simply not to engage. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the value of saying less, of choosing your words carefully, and avoiding unnecessary conversation. When faced with a situation where gossip or drama is brewing, silence can be a powerful tool. By refusing to contribute to the negativity, you send a clear message that you won't participate in toxic behavior. This doesn't mean withdrawing from conversation entirely, but rather being selective about the discussions you engage in, ensuring that they are constructive and aligned with your values. Avoiding gossip and drama is not just about protecting your own peace. It's also about fostering a more positive and supportive environment for those around you. When you choose not to engage in gossip or drama, you set an example for others. Your decision to rise above negativity encourages others to do the same. Seneca often wrote about the ripple effect of virtuous behavior, how one person's actions can inspire those around them to act with greater integrity. By distancing yourself from toxic behavior, you contribute to a culture of respect and positivity, both in your personal relationships and in your larger community. In the end, Stoicism teaches that avoiding gossip and drama is not about isolation or withdrawal. It's about making conscious choices that protect your mental and emotional well-being. By staying focused on what truly matters, setting clear boundaries, and cultivating positive relationships, you can navigate a world filled with distractions and negativity without losing your sense of purpose and peace. The Stoic path is one of clarity, calm, and resilience, and by applying these principles to your interactions with others, you create a life free from the chaos of gossip and drama. As we come to the end of this journey through the Stoic wisdom that helps us identify toxic behavior in our lives, It's clear that protecting your peace is not just about avoiding negativity, but about cultivating strength, clarity, and resilience. Whether it's spotting manipulation, distancing from chronic negativity, or navigating the emotional drain of energy vampires, Stoicism gives you the tools to guard your mind, your time, and your heart. Remember, living a life of virtue means knowing when to step away from the chaos, when to set boundaries, and when to stand firm in your values. If you found these insights helpful, we want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share which toxic trait you've dealt with, or what Stoic principle has resonated with you the most. Your wisdom could be exactly what someone else needs to read today. And if you're ready to continue strengthening your mindset and living with more purpose, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest Stoic insights. This journey is just beginning, and we're here to walk it with you. Stay grounded, stay resilient.